Today, we explore one of the most fascinating alien photographic mysteries ever recorded, the story of the Solway Spaceman. In 1964, the world was poised at the dawn of a remarkable era, the Space Age. This period was marked by intense geopolitical competition, rapid scientific progress, and a collective yearning to explore the unknown. The Cold War had propelled two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, into a fierce technological and ideological race that extended beyond Earth's atmosphere. As rockets and satellites pierced the sky, humanity's gaze turned upwards, dreaming of stars, alien worlds, and encounters beyond imagination. At the same time, however, many questions lingered about life beyond our planet, about mysterious phenomena that defied explanation, and about what hidden truths might exist just beyond the veil of everyday perception. Amid this atmosphere of hope, tension, and wonder, a single photograph emerged from the windswept marshlands of northwest England. It appeared ordinary at first glance, a simple snapshot of a young girl enjoying a sunny day. Yet behind her stood a figure unlike any known human presence. Clad in what resembled a futuristic spacesuit, the shadowy form ignited imaginations worldwide and became a symbol of the mysterious and unexplained. Known as the Solway Spaceman, this image continues to captivate researchers, skeptics, and believers alike. What exactly did that photograph capture? Was it evidence of extraterrestrial visitation, a secret government experiment, or simply a trick of light and perspective? This story takes us on a journey through history, science, and mystery as we unravel the enigma behind the Solway Spaceman. To fully grasp why the Solway Spaceman photograph caused such a sensation, we must immerse ourselves in the unique cultural and political context of the 1960s. This decade was shaped by an intense rivalry between the two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, whose Cold War standoff permeated almost every aspect of global affairs. Both nations invested heavily in nuclear arms, espionage, and technological development, fueling a pervasive atmosphere of suspicion and fear. Amid this tension, the space race emerged as a symbolic and literal frontier where these powers would test their prowess. From 1957, when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the world's first artificial satellite, through the early 1960s, space became a battleground and a beacon of hope. Astronauts clad in white, pressurized suits became heroic figures representing humanity's dreams and resilience. They embodied the hope that humanity could transcend earthly conflicts and unite in the exploration of the cosmos. Science fiction literature, films, and television reflected this fascination, portraying encounters with alien beings, cosmic mysteries, and secret government cover-ups. The public consumed stories of flying saucers, extraterrestrial life, and interstellar visitors with both excitement and skepticism. Within this cultural milieu, a strange photograph showing what looked like an astronaut in the English countryside was immediately provocative. It tapped into collective hopes, fears, and the desire to believe in something beyond the mundane. The combination of real-world space exploration and widespread fascination with UFOs set the perfect stage for the Solway Spaceman to become an enduring mystery. The Solway Firth, stretching between the northwest coast of England and southwest Scotland, is a unique and evocative landscape, a vast tidal estuary characterized by expansive mudflats, salt marshes, and quiet waters. Berg Marsh, part of this estuary, is a particularly wild and isolated area where the natural rhythms of tides and wind shape the environment. Here, the horizon is wide and open, the sky often overcast or dramatically clear, and the air tinged with salt and fresh marsh grasses. The marsh is a place of solitude and timelessness, where nature seems to hold court in a near untouched state. This isolation has made it an ideal spot for quiet family outings, birdwatching, and contemplation. But it is also a landscape prone to optical illusions and atmospheric distortions, where shifting light, reflections on water, and the gentle sway of marsh plants can combine to create images that play tricks on the eye. It is in this seemingly tranquil and natural setting that the Solway Spaceman photograph was taken. The environment itself lends a mysterious quality to the image, as the marsh's flat, open spaces mean that any unusual figure would be immediately noticeable. The reflective pools of water and the soft, diffused light often create shadows and shapes that can be difficult to interpret. This interplay of natural conditions is a key element in understanding the photograph's lasting impact and the difficulties in interpreting what was truly captured on film. On the 23rd of May, 1964, Jim Templeton, a local firefighter living near Carlisle, decided to take his family out for a simple picnic on the marshes. Jim was a devoted husband and father who cherished spending time with his wife Annie and their young daughter Elizabeth. The day was mild, the spring air fresh with the sense of new growth and damp earth, perfect for a relaxing afternoon away from the pressures of daily life. Equipped with his Kodak camera, a popular model for amateur photography at the time, Jim aimed to capture some candid moments of Elizabeth playing in the natural surroundings. The child's laughter and energy brought warmth and light to the day. Jim took several photographs, focusing on candid shots of Elizabeth running, sitting on the grass, and exploring the marshland. The family experienced no unusual events during their outing. There was no sense of tension, no strange figures noticed by any of them. Yet, when the film was developed and the photographs printed, one image stood out in an entirely unexpected way. It captured a moment of innocent childhood joy, but also included something else, something not recognized or noticed at the time of the photo. This moment would go on to challenge perceptions of reality and spark a worldwide mystery. Upon reviewing the photographs from that day, Jim Templeton was initially pleased with the images of Elizabeth. However, one photo drew his attention and caused immediate confusion and concern. Behind Elizabeth, slightly out of focus but clearly visible, was a figure unlike anything Jim had seen that day. The figure appeared humanoid, but was clad in a white suit that resembled the bulky, reflective, protective gear worn by astronauts. The head was encased in a helmet-like dome, with no discernible facial features or expressions visible. The figure's stance was upright and rigid, almost mechanical, and it seemed to be standing some distance behind Elizabeth, partially lit by the sunlight but casting no shadow. Jim was adamant that no one else was present during the outing, a claim supported by his wife Annie and daughter Elizabeth, who both remembered no one else nearby. There was no recollection of strange sounds or movements, no sense that a visitor had been close. This made the presence of the figure even more perplexing. If no one had been there, then what was this figure caught on film? The photograph's authenticity and strange content attracted attention from experts at Kodak, the manufacturer of the camera and film used by Jim Templeton. The original negatives were sent to Kodak's laboratories in the United States for detailed examination. These technicians were among the most skilled in the world at analyzing film for flaws, alterations, and anomalies. The experts found no evidence of double exposure, a common photographic error where two images overlap on a single frame, which could create ghostly or unexplained figures. They also ruled out any manipulation during development, scratches, or light leaks that could have caused an artifact resembling a figure. The negative was clean and consistent with a single exposure. This official confirmation that the photograph was genuine and unaltered deepened the mystery. If the figure was not a photographic error, then it must have been physically present in the scene at the time of exposure. Yet none of the people involved recalled seeing it. The clarity and unusual shape of the figure defied easy explanation. The photographic evidence thus presented a conundrum. A mysterious figure authentically captured, but completely unaccounted for by the witnesses present. This duality made the image both credible and baffling, fueling interest and debate for decades. To understand the significance of the Solway Spaceman photograph, it is important to consider the technology and practices of photography in the early 1960s. Cameras then were predominantly analog, using film rolls that required manual loading, exposure adjustments, and development in a darkroom with chemicals. Photographers had limited chances to review images immediately, relying instead on experience and careful planning. Common issues with film photography included double exposure, where two pictures are accidentally exposed on the same frame, light leaks, where stray light affects the film, and motion blur caused by subject or camera movement. These errors often produce ghostly or strange effects on photographs, and many UFO images were later debunked as the result of such technical mishaps. In the case of the Solway Spaceman photograph, Kodak's detailed analysis confirmed that none of these common faults were responsible. The film was properly exposed, the image sharp in all its details, and the figure a single coherent shape. This fact makes the photograph unusual among many UFO photos of the time, which were frequently dismissed as fakes or errors. The technical integrity of this image added weight to its mystery and contributed to its iconic status. When the photograph of the Solway Spaceman was first published in newspapers and magazines, it quickly attracted public attention. In the pre-internet age, such images traveled through print media, radio broadcasts, and television news, capturing the imagination of millions. The image became a sensation, sparking debates, discussions, and speculation. Readers and viewers were fascinated by the eerie figure, and many interpreted it as proof of alien visitation or government secrets. UFO enthusiasts hailed the image as one of the most convincing pieces of evidence for extraterrestrial life. Skeptics questioned its authenticity, while conspiracy theorists suggested that the government was covering up an encounter. Jim Templeton's life changed dramatically. As an ordinary firefighter and family man, he was suddenly at the center of intense media scrutiny. Interviewers sought explanations, and he received both praise and ridicule. His photograph became a touchstone for people's hopes and fears regarding the unknown, and its fame only grew with time. Adding a darker layer to the story, Jim Templeton reported visits by mysterious men dressed in black suits, often associated in UFO lore with government agents or secret operatives. These men appeared without warning, questioning him about the photograph and his whereabouts on the day it was taken. They offered no identification and left an unsettling impression. The Men in Black phenomenon is a staple of UFO mythology. Enigmatic figures who appear to silence witnesses, discourage discussion, or collect information. Their presence in this case intensified suspicions that the photograph had attracted unwanted attention from powerful forces seeking to control the narrative. Jim's account of these visitors has never been independently confirmed, but remains a compelling part of the Solway Spaceman legend, underscoring the tension between curiosity and secrecy. At around the same time as the Solway Spaceman photograph, reports from the Woomera missile testing range in Australia described sightings of strange figures dressed in white suits. These figures were reported disrupting missile tests and moving silently near restricted zones. Eyewitness descriptions bore a remarkable resemblance to the Solway Spaceman's appearance, leading to speculation that these events were related or part of a wider phenomenon. Some suggested secret military experiments involving advanced protective gear or even alien visitation coordinated across continents. The coincidence of these reports amplified the mystery and suggested that if the Solway Spaceman was something more than a trick of light or perspective, it might be part of a global pattern of strange encounters. Despite the intrigue, skeptics have proposed a far simpler explanation for the figure in the photograph. The most widely accepted skeptical theory is that the figure is actually Annie Templeton, Jim's wife, who was nearby wearing a white raincoat. Under certain lighting conditions and angles, the coat's hood might have appeared as a helmet, and her posture combined with photographic perspective could create the illusion of a spaceman. Photography experts note that perspective, shadows, and slight blurring can easily distort shapes, especially in natural environments with uneven light. Human brains tend to interpret ambiguous shapes in familiar patterns, which can lead to misidentification. Jim Templeton, however, disputed this claim, insisting that Annie was not in the photograph and was standing elsewhere at the time. This disagreement between eyewitness accounts and photographic analysis highlights the complexities of perception, memory, and interpretation. Humans have an innate tendency to recognize patterns in faces, a phenomenon known as pareidolia. This psychological effect causes people to see meaningful images in random or ambiguous stimuli, such as faces in clouds, animals in rock formations, or figures in shadows. In the context of the Solway Spaceman, pareidolia may influence how observers interpret the shape in the photograph. The brain seeks familiarity and meaning, especially when faced with uncertainty or incomplete information. What might be a simple figure of a person in a raincoat hood can be perceived as an alien spaceman if the mind is primed to expect mystery. Understanding pareidolia helps explain why many UFO sightings and unexplained images persist in popular imagination despite lacking concrete evidence. Beyond mainstream explanations, the Solway Spaceman image has inspired numerous speculative theories. Some propose the figure could be a time traveler accidentally captured on film, a visitor from the future wearing protective gear unfamiliar to us. Others suggest the suit might be experimental military equipment tested in secret and unknown to the public. More exotic theories include the possibility of parallel dimensions briefly intersecting, allowing glimpses of entities not native to our reality. Some enthusiasts imagine the figure as an extraterrestrial visitor on a reconnaissance mission. While these ideas lack scientific evidence, they reflect humanity's desire to find extraordinary answers to extraordinary mysteries, blending imagination with the unknown. Decades after the original photograph was taken, the Solway Spaceman remains an iconic symbol in UFO lore and popular culture. It has been featured in books, documentaries, television programs, and internet discussions. The image represents a fascinating intersection of human curiosity, technological progress, and the timeless allure of mystery. The photograph challenges viewers to consider the limits of perception and the possibility that there is more to our world than meets the eye. It reminds us that even in a familiar landscape, the extraordinary might be hiding just beyond our notice. Science operates on the foundation of reproducibility, evidence, and critical examination. While the Solway Spaceman photograph is compelling and intriguing, it alone cannot prove the existence of extraterrestrial life or paranormal phenomena. Scientists emphasize the need for multiple, consistent observations and physical evidence to support such claims. Skeptics caution against drawing hasty conclusions based on a single ambiguous image, encouraging continued investigation and open-minded but rigorous analysis. The Solway Spaceman story exemplifies the balance between wonder and skepticism, essential to the pursuit of truth. The enduring appeal of the Solway Spaceman lies in its invitation to question, to wonder, and to explore the unknown. Whether it represents a trick of light, a secret visitor, or something beyond our current understanding, the photograph challenges us to look deeper, to question the limits of perception, and to embrace the mysteries that make life fascinating. This story, like many in the realm of the unexplained, does not offer definitive answers, but encourages curiosity, critical thinking, and imagination. As we continue to explore our world and beyond, the Solway Spaceman remains a symbol of humanity's eternal quest to uncover the secrets of the universe. Thank you for joining this journey into one of the most captivating and enduring enigmas of our time.